Welcome to Ask the Experts. This is our program where you ask your question and we fan it out to our experts. And for this special episode on credit reports, we didn't have to go very far to find an expert. I'm talking with my colleague, Jan Minniti, who has served the organization and much of NACM for 35 years and knows more about credit reports than probably even the credit reporting agencies. So I welcome her, and I guess a little background is worthwhile here. We've had a lot of questions recently about credit reports, and a lot of those are coming from people new to the profession. And so we're doing 2 episodes here to take a look at some basic credit reporting information, details, and ultimately steer you back to us so that we can answer more of your questions for your particular enterprise. So with that, let's begin. And Jan, welcome. Thank you for joining me. The basic question right off the bat, and we've had a couple people actually ask this one, and that is, why do I use credit reports?
Well, you use credit reports to check the creditworthiness of somebody that you're selling to. You use it to make sure that they're staying in the correct parameters for payment with their suppliers, even as you sell to them. A lot of people will use them prior to sending somebody to collections. You can use them for the entire cycle of the client. So from acquiring to the end of the account.
Okay. And so if we take that a step further, when is the right time to pull a report?
So I actually think there's a lot of right times to pull a report. Obviously, when you're acquiring a new customer, you want to know who you're getting into business with, if they have the ability to pay you. I think a credit report works really well as it shows the ability to pay and the willingness to pay. So that's what you want to see. I mean, they may have a lot of money, but if they're not paying anybody, it doesn't really matter. I think it's important to check on existing customers. If somebody starts to pay you slow, you want to know if they're paying everybody else slow. If they're starting to come in and want higher credit limits, you need to make sure that they warrant higher credit limits. They aren't being cut off by current suppliers, so they're coming to you for more. I mean, some people use it, like I said, for collections. So prior to sending them to collections, they'll check and see, are they the only ones not being paid? If you're the only one not being paid and everybody else is being paid, then you might want to look at why. There's probably something within the company. Now, if they're not paying anybody, then send it to collections ASAP so that you're first in line. And one other area that I see that people don't normally think about is prior to sending your sales rep out. So this is applicable only to the business credit reports, not the consumer, but the business. But sometimes it's very expensive to send a sales rep out and look at and spend time with them, go to lunch with them, go to dinner with them, fly out, depending upon all that, just to come back, earn the business, and find out that they're not creditworthy and you're not going to sell them. So some people will actually pull a credit report prior to their salesperson going out and say, hey, yeah, this is a great account. They can even say, well, we would even offer them terms of X or a balance, a limit of X. So the sales rep can go out really armed saying, hey, you're already pre-approved, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, you still need the signed credit applications, et cetera, but you can do all that prior to even spending any money trying to acquire the business.
So when we're part of an organization that's 123 years old, so we've been through, not us particularly, but we've been through a lot of downturns. Well, you maybe, but not me. But we've been through a lot of downturns. And 10 years ago, when we had the Great Recession, we saw times were really good. They quit pulling the reports, and then times got bad quickly, and it was a little too late to do a lot of damage control. Now, and since then, we've been telling people, don't quit pulling reports. Good times, keep going. Now we're getting into this, whatever this weird economy is we're in, and it feels like in some ways it's slowing down, other parts are not, but I have a feeling we know what the writing on the wall says. Would you reiterate that lesson that we've learned so many times in history? Keep pulling the reports.
Absolutely. So over and over again. So I've been through at least 3 downturns where people have been shocked by the fact that things were going downhill as quickly as they were. This one has been a really odd one for me because normally, and I think what everybody expected to see during COVID was a huge decline in business, but that's not at all what people saw. PPP money, we saw huge jumps in need for product. suppliers couldn't get the product, couldn't keep it enhanced, and people were paying. So it's been a great 2 years really after the pandemic for credit suppliers. But what I'm hearing at industry groups and otherwise with economists and stuff is that now we're starting to see a slowdown. Now the PPP money is gone and some of the jobs are gone and some of the stuff is happening. So it's a little bit more concerning. People really need to stay on top of their clients. The last thing you want to do is to be the last one to find out that your customers going out of business or not going to do well. So there's ways. Credit reports is a great way to check that, but there's other products out there, scoring, where you portfolio score your accounts, so you know what's happening with everybody all at once. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look, but you really should be keeping track of your existing customers. If you're not using your alerts, use your alerts.
Great. And that's a good way to bring this session to a close. In our next session, we will be looking at some of the, I guess, more details related to what kind of credit reports suit you, what's going to be best for your company. So be sure to join us for the next Ask the Experts. With that, thanks for joining us. And Jan, thank you. And we'll be back with you next time.